It started with a game of truth or dare at a gala. My wife lost. Her dare was to divorce me. I was about to grab her glass and drink the penalty shot for her, but she pushed my hand away. I've never forfeited a game in my life, Caleb. Why should you forfeit for me? After we signed the papers at the courthouse, she cooed at me. The other dare card was to kiss Julian Banks. I had to choose the divorce. Don't worry, hubby. It's just 30 days until the paperwork is finalized. As soon as it's done, we'll remarry immediately. Think of it as a chance for me to throw you a real wedding this time. Naively, I believed her. I thought this was Serena Sterling's elaborate way of surprising me with the ceremony we never had. 30 days later, I received a notification. She and Julian Banks had just obtained a marriage license. I'm so sorry, hubby, she told me later, voice dripping with feigned helplessness. I lost the game again last night. The dare was to marry Julian. You won't believe what the other option was. French kissing him for 30 seconds. How could I betray you like that? Of course, I chose the marriage license. Don't worry, I've already filed for an annulment. Just give me another 30 days, and I'll definitely marry you. I blocked Serena's number and vanished. I stayed gone for 3 years. 3 years later, Serena finally found me. By then, I was the father of 2 children. He smiled the hair. I lost the game too, Serena. The dare required me to choose between having children with another woman or bankrupting the Sterling family. You were always so good to me, so naturally, I chose to have kids with someone else. At the airport entrance, I smiled politely at her. So, Miss Sterling, if you'd please step aside, you're scaring the children. Serena stiffened, her gaze dropping to the 2 toddlers holding my hands. Her composure cracked. Caleb Stone, are you trying to spite me? You actually have children? I looked for you for 3 whole years after that day, and you went off to have kids with someone else? How could you? I don't believe it. You're using someone else's kids to trick me, aren't you? Let me see if they look like you. Seeing Serena lunge toward the twins, I stepped forward, blocking her path, my demeanor hardening. Serena, I told you, these are children I had with my wife. She'll be returning to the States soon, so please have some self-respect. Step aside. If you continue to harass me and my children, I don't think my wife would mind finishing that other dare for me, the one about bankrupting your family. Security noticed the commotion and began weaving through the crowd toward us, frowning. Serena, losing face, turned angry. In San Francisco, the Sterling family is second only to the Pierces. Besides Victoria Pierce, who would dare claim they could bankrupt my family. Caleb, you've been scammed. I laughed coldly. How do you know my wife isn't Victoria Pierce? Serena let out a breath of relief. Caleb, you still can't lie to save your life. How could Victoria Pierce ever look twice at you? Besides, the marital status of the Pierce heiress is public record. I had it checked ages ago. Victoria Pierce has always been single. I checked yours too. Caleb, you're lying to me. For the past 3 years, you've been legally single, haven't you? I fell silent because I really couldn't lie. Victoria and I hadn't legally married yet. Serena spread her hands. See, Caleb, I told you long ago, you can't make it without me. Come on, let's go home. She had indeed said that 3 years ago when she convinced me to sign the divorce papers. Back then, she had cajoled me. Caleb, we grew up together. We promised to spend our lives together. How could a silly game separate us? You know me inside out. You should know what I'm planning. I'm doing this so we can marry again, properly, so you can shed that label of being a charity case husband and we can fix the regrets of the past. When I married Serena, her family was on the brink of bankruptcy. She had less than $50 in her pocket. To save face for her, I brought $5 million into the marriage as a live-in husband, saving the Sterling dynasty. Because of the rush, we had no ceremony, just a courthouse signature. Because of her words back then, I foolishly believed she wanted to give me a wedding, to marry me formally and end my humiliation. I foolishly waited for 30 days. Memory receded, and a look of mockery surfaced on my face. Go home to which house? Yours and Julian's? As far as I know, it's been 3 years, and you two still haven't divorced. The atmosphere grew heavy. Serena froze for a moment. She tried to explain. No, Caleb, listen to me. We went to file for divorce several times, but every time Julian had some emergency. But for 3 years, I really was looking for you. As long as you come back, I'll force him to divorce me this time. Besides, you're back with 2 illegitimate kids. Who else but me would take you? Security had arrived, faces cold. After I lodged a complaint about Serena harassing me, I picked up the children and walked straight to the waiting Pierce family limousine. I hadn't expected the first person I'd see upon returning to the U.S. would be Serena. Bad memories from 3 years ago flooded back, dampening my mood. My melancholy was interrupted by a video call from Victoria. Taking care of the kids alone. You must be exhausted from the flight, she said softly. I have 2 final board meetings here in Zurich. Once everything is settled, I'll fly back to join you. Seeing my mood, she looked at me earnestly. Caleb, I'm finally going to marry you. I'm so happy. I hope you can be as happy as I am. I broke into a smile through the gloom and nodded seriously. I'm very happy, Tori. Yes, I'd already started a new life. Serena was just a stain from the past. Why let her block my view and hurt my heart again? After settling into the villa in the Bay Area, I accepted an invitation to a gathering with old friends. I had disappeared without a word 3 years ago. They had been worried sick. I owed them an explanation. I just didn't expect Serena and Julian to be there, too. My friend looked awkward. Sully, man, I just wanted to throw a lively welcome back party. I didn't expect them to invite that crowd. I sat in the corner, quietly shaking my head. It didn't matter. These people had nothing to do with me anymore. 3 rounds of drinks later, they were playing that same game from 3 years ago. Childish and boring. At some point, Julian dragged Serena over to sit next to me. Caleb, long time no see, bro. I didn't think you'd ever come back. I thought you were too happy to remember us. I heard you got kicked out and came back with 2 kids. You aren't looking for Serena to be a stepmom to your baggage, are you? Serena interrupted in a low voice. Julian, don't say that. Caleb was tricked by someone. Caleb, I thought about it seriously yesterday. These past 3 years without you, my life has been a mess. I don't want to live without you anymore. Tomorrow, I'll arrange for the kids to go to the best orphanage, and then you can move back home. I asked, genuinely perplexed. You mean you want me to abandon my children to come to your house and take care of you and your husband? What? They interpreted my words as jealousy. Julian wrapped his arm around Serena's shoulders, laughing. Caleb, it's not that I don't want to step aside. It's just that our parents found out about the marriage license. Now the elders are watching us like hawks. It's really hard to divorce right now. With Serena's temper, I wanted to quit this marriage for ages. Don't worry, Caleb. When you move back in, if anyone calls you a homewrecker, I'll defend you. No pressure. If I'd known divorce was this much trouble, I never would have made that joke back then. And you, Serena, why did you have to choose to marry me? If you'd picked the other option, we wouldn't be in this mess. Are you kidding? How could I French kiss you in front of all those people? If word got out, people would think I'm easy. Aren't you easy? Scumbag, scumbag, absolute scumbag. The 2 of them dissolved into laughter and playful shoving. I found it unbearably noisy and stood up to leave. Checking the time, I was worried the babies might be jet lagged, so I decided to say goodbye and head home. But as I skirted the crowd, I was blocked. The bottle pointed at you, Caleb. Dade. I was pushed down into a chair by 7 or 8 hands. Someone quickly slapped 2 penalty cards on the table in front of me. Pick one of 2, Caleb. Been 3 years. Don't be a buzzkill. I looked down at the text on the cards. Kiss a single person of the opposite sex in the room for 1 minute. Publicly reveal a photo of the last person you slept with. Just as I was about to grab a drink to forfeit, my arm was pinned. Serena slid in front of me. Choose the first one. Pick me. I laughed coldly. Is your eyesight failing, Miss Sterling? The card requires a single person. Serena froze, a rare look of regret crossing her face. I forfeit. As soon as the words left my mouth, Serena's eyes reddened. Caleb, I didn't realize you'd rather forfeit than damage my reputation. Actually, you could have chosen the second one and shown my photo. I wouldn't have minded. Directly ahead, Julian's eyes were bloodshot, looking like he wanted to eat me alive. I smiled faintly and downed the alcohol. Sorry, but I have a new family now and 2 lovely babies. You all have fun. I need to go home to my children. The crowd jumped up to block me. What? You have kids? What about Serena? Who did you have kids with, Caleb? How come we don't know? Sit down and explain. You weren't hiding them from us with Serena, were you? Serena stubbornly blocked the door, refusing to let me leave. Caleb, we finally found each other again. Julian suddenly downed an entire bottle of wine, pointed a trembling finger at me, and slurred, Caleb, 3 years gone, and you think you can just waltz in and out? Isn't that a little rude? Since you got the hell out, why come back to disturb us? You knew I always liked Serena. You gave her up to me, so why come back and try to steal her? Am I a joke to you? Just a toy for you 2 to pass back and forth. The private room fell silent. Serena stood frozen, stammering, Julian, you like me? Why didn't you ever say? I didn't mean to. I didn't know you. Julian threw a dice cup in my chest. Caleb, let's go one-on-one. If you lose, you promise to disappear from Serena's face forever and never remarry her. Serena moved her lips as if to speak, but remained silent. She was hesitating, and in that moment, I understood everything completely. If this was a way to get them to exit my life permanently, then so be it. I accepted. But I didn't expect Julian to intentionally lose the game before I even had a chance to try. I lost. You picked the penalty. I realized then. He was trying to force Serena's hand, to force her to declare her feelings. Since that was the case, I spoke without expression. Kiss any single person of the opposite sex in this room, or divorce Serena Sterling. Whispers erupted around us. Caleb really came back to steal Serena. Julian guessed right. Does that mean Caleb got scammed by some woman out there and came back looking for a safety net? Isn't he obviously trying to humiliate Julian? All the single girls here used to have crushes on Julian, and Serena is obsessed with loyalty. He's clearly trying to break them up. Julian gritted his teeth, eventually standing up and walking toward a girl who had chased him bitterly for years. Just before their skin touched, Serena rushed forward and pulled Julian away. Caleb, how could you suggest such a penalty? If Julian kisses someone else, do you know how much that will damage his reputation? I'm so disappointed in you. What are your intentions with these ultimatums? Didn't Julian just explain it to you? Because of his parents, we can't divorce right now. Why do you have to force us? Caleb, you're an older man with 2 illegitimate kids. Do you think anyone besides me would want you? You don't have the right to be picky. If you bully Julian again, I won't agree to remarry you. I scoffed. It's just a game. If you can't handle losing, stick to drinking. Since you two have confessed your feelings, please lock it down. Don't ever disturb me or my family again. Otherwise, my wife won't be as polite as I am. With that, I turned and left. I regretted it instantly. I should never have come to this gathering. Staying home with the kids would have been infinitely better. The gossip from the drinking party was recorded and posted online, where the Sterling family saw it. Julian's background was poor, so the Sterlings had always opposed him. Now, they were pressuring Serena to divorce. Once Serena sobered up, she sent me a barrage of messages, explaining that she had been drunk and impulsive, that those words weren't from her heart, and that she would officially divorce Julian. She said she had thought it over seriously. She wasn't suited for a real life with Julian, and the one she truly wanted to marry had always been me. She also demanded to see the children, saying that if the kids were willing to accept her, she would agree to adopt them. I left everything on read and blocked her on every platform. Soon, the day of the auction arrived. It was the primary reason I hadn't waited for Victoria and had brought the children back early alone. There was an item in this auction, a family heirloom lost by the Pierce family years ago, and specifically, a memento of Victoria's mother. I wanted to prepare a surprise for Victoria and give it to her at our wedding. Coincidentally, the nanny I trusted most was on leave. I didn't feel safe leaving the children alone at home with new staff, so I brought them with me to the auction house, settling them in the private box's nursery area. After taking my seat, I saw Julian in the adjacent box, wearing a high-fashion bespoke suit, waving at me arrogantly. Did Serena promise you she'd divorce me today? But she agreed to come with me to the auction today and even bought me this expensive suit. Doesn't that mean that between the two of us, she chose me again? I didn't know why Julian was so obsessed with Serena choosing him in these binary games. But I would never give the person I loved a multiple-choice question to begin with. The auction began. I waited 2 hours for the target lot. But when I raised my paddle, Julian raised his provocatively. Wifey, I want this. Buy it for me, okay? Serena glanced at me, then whispered, okay. As long as you promise to go to the courthouse with me tomorrow, I'll buy it. My heart sank. This heirloom. I had waited 3 years for it. It could not be taken by someone else. 35 million. Serena raised her paddle, her voice cold. Caleb, I checked your assets. You have less than 30 million. If you agree to remarry me, I'll gift this item to you. I was silent for a moment, looking down and rubbing my thumb over Victoria's profile picture on my phone. I said nothing. When I looked up again, Serena's seat was empty. I made my decision. I pulled out the black card Victoria's mother had given me as payment years ago. A card I had sworn never to spend a dime from. 40 million. I suddenly voiced the bid. Julian whipped his head around, screaming. He's lying. He doesn't have 40 million. This item is mine. But the auction house had its rules and naturally ignored him. And without Serena there to back him, Julian didn't dare shout a counterbid. 40 million going 3 times. Sold. Congratulations to the gentleman. I let out a long breath. I was about to stand up and leave when I froze. The door to my private box had been opened at some point. The security guard station there was gone, and the children, who had been sleeping in the swing bed, were missing. At that exact moment, a message from Serena arrived. If you want the kids, come to the car and negotiate. Disregarding everything, I sprinted toward the exit, tore open the door to Serena's car. The next second, a chemical rag was pressed over my face. I slumped heavily onto the back seat, unconscious. When I groggily awoke, Serena was driving us toward the outskirts of the city. All my communication devices have been confiscated. I roared at her, eyes nearly popping from their sockets. Serena Sterling, give me back my children. Serena looked back with a face full of twisted affection. Don't rush, Caleb. Don't worry. As long as they become our children in the future, I absolutely won't hurt them. I was trembling all over, but I told her clearly, I told you, the children are Victoria Pierce's, not yours. Serena suddenly slammed a high heel into the back seat. Why? Caleb, you should know. Our family has fought with the Pierce family for generations, and every time, the Pierces crush us. I hate that family. I hate Victoria Pierce to death. Why did it have to be her? Are you doing this out of spite because I didn't remarry you as promised back then? So you seduced Victoria? Caleb, why bother? I told you ages ago that Victoria is a sickly invalid with no interest in men. She wouldn't fall for anyone. Look at you. You drag yourself back to the States, exhausted, with 2 kids, only to be abandoned anyway, right? You can only marry me. Only I will treat you well. Don't you understand yet? I suddenly calmed down, finding Serena both pathetic and laughable. Serena, is it fun lying to yourself? Do you think you're so deep and loyal? Since you claim to treat me well, why did you divorce me? Why did you let everyone mock me as a kept man? Why did you keep claiming you'd give me a wedding, only to turn around and marry another man? Serena, don't forget, when your family was bankrupt, I gave up everything and married in to save you. And how did you repay me? Just because of a game? Just because you didn't want to lose? You made me bear the consequences. You're just selfish. You don't love anyone. The car fell silent. Serena seemed stunned for a moment, her tone softening. Caleb, I promise you, as long as you remarry me, I'll give you all the ceremony you want this time. I won't break my word again. Don't be mad, okay? You know Julian likes me, but I don't like him. I always just treated him like a brother. Since I know his goal now, I'll cut ties with him immediately to prove my loyalty to you. No need. I interrupted her. Miss Sterling, what you failed to do, Victoria has already done. Although we haven't signed the papers yet, for specific reasons, she already gave me the most unforgettable wedding. So, those promises you failed to keep. I don't need them anymore. Victoria is returning to the U.S. today. If she finds out the children and I are missing, she won't let you off. If you don't want the Sterling family to face ruin again, tell me where the kids are and let us go. We'll never cross paths again, and I'll ensure your family stays safe. Serena scoffed. Caleb, since I decided to do this, I don't plan to give up, and I won't regret it. I'm doing all this just to get you back. I can sacrifice everything else. The car screeched to a halt at the edge of a cliff in the outskirts. I threw the door open, but the sight before me nearly stopped my heart. My twin babies with Tori were asleep in a basket, but the basket was suspended over the precipice by a single, thin fishing line. The wind gusted, sending the basket swaying violently over the drop. I tried to rush forward to save them without hesitation, but my limbs refused to obey. I collapsed onto the dirt, muscles turning to jelly. Don't struggle. I injected a paralytic into your arms and legs. You have no ability to save your children right now. Serena stood over me, looking down with eyes full of ice. Caleb, I just got the paternity test results. You've disappointed me so much. She played a voice message from her lawyer next to my ear. Ms. Sterling, the report is in. We cross-referenced with the Pierce family database. The children are highly likely Victoria Pierce's. Serena crouched slowly, her eyes bloodshot. You care about these 2 kids, don't you? Disappear for Victoria Pierce's life forever. Remarry me. If you do, I'll send these kids to the Pierce estate. If you refuse, I'll cut the line and let them fend for themselves. I gritted my teeth so hard they threatened to crack, but I didn't say a word. Serena cursed, frustrated, and picked up a pair of shears, walking toward the basket. Caleb, think carefully. This drop is at least 600 feet. One snip, and your children are dead. My voice was raspy. Even if I can't beat you, Victoria won't let you get away with this. Oh, speaking of that, did I forget to mention? I found Victoria's private flight plan. By now, her plane should have crashed due to a mid-air accident. What? I felt cold all over, looking up in disbelief. I was met with the screen of Serena's phone. A breaking news alert showed a Pierce Group private jet from Europe had crashed upon entry. The sight a scene of devastation. I screamed, breaking down. Impossible. Serena, this is murder. You'll pay with your life. You're insane. Serena shrugged indifferently. Caleb, life without you is a living hell anyway. Why can't you understand me? If you had just agreed earlier, if you had just come back, Victoria wouldn't have had to die, would she? Tears dripped onto the dirt. My heart turned to ash. I knew I loved Victoria. Only Victoria. If she was dead, I would sacrifice my life to avenge her. A massive surge of adrenaline suddenly overrode the drugs. I lurched to my feet, snatched the shears from Serena, and drove them toward her. She couldn't dodge in time. The blade pierced her chest, but because my strength was failing, it wasn't fatal. Serena screamed at me. Caleb, are you crazy? Is it worth it for a woman? I'm your first love. I'm the one you're supposed to be with. Can't you just forget her and start over with me? I ignored her, attacking blindly again. She couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed a heavy cushion from the car and smothered my face with it. Oxygen depleted. My struggles faded. Just as I thought I was dying, a familiar voice rang out. Serena Sterling, release my children and my husband, or I will cut your husband's rope first. The pressure vanished. My vision cleared. I saw my wife, Victoria Pierce, walking toward us from the distance, step by steady step. And beside her, hanging over the cliff edge, was a battered and bruised Julian Banks. Julian finally saw Serena and shrieked, tearing his throat. Wifey, save me. She's going to drop me. I am scared. Serena froze for a second, but quickly regained her arrogant posture. Victoria Pierce, you didn't die. Whatever. You think grabbing Julian gives you leverage? Go ahead, try it. I don't love him anyway. Compared to his life, I care more about how important these kids are to you. As far as I know, you can't have children anymore, can you? The Pierce dynasty finally has heirs. How could you give them up so easily? Victoria, I'm the one negotiating here. Promise never to disturb Caleb and me again, and I guarantee your children will be returned to you safely. It's not a hard request, is it? You're famous for having no interest in men. Caleb was just a tool for breeding, right? How much could you love him? I'm different. I can't live without him. Tell you what, if you really want a man. Serena pointed at Julian. You can have that one. Julian hung there, dumbfounded, then began to scream hysterically. Serena, you piece of trash. I did so many dirty things for you. And this is how you treat me? I was blind to like you for so many years. Serena, if I survive this, I will make you wish you were dead. Serena sneered. Did I make you do them? Did I beg you? You just wanted to use secrets to tie yourself to me. Stop lying to yourself. Victoria interrupted the quarrel. Serena, I am sorry to learn you are such a heartless creature. Fine, even if you don't care about your husband, what about the others? Victoria stepped aside. Behind her, I saw over a dozen people bound and gagged. Serena's parents, the entire Sterling clan. Serena lost all her bravado, collapsing to her knees. Victoria, what are you doing? Let my family go. They are innocent. Victoria nodded with satisfaction. It seems you have some filial piety left. You aren't completely incurable. Simple. You want me to release your family? You release mine first. Serena's parents wailed. Serena, why are you doing this? Why provoke the Pierce family? Stop this now. Do you want every Sterling to die here today? When Caleb left, I warned you. He was about to transfer assets to your name. Why did you have to play that game and divorce him? How could you betray Caleb like that? Serena's eyes widened. Mom, what are you saying? Didn't Caleb give us all his money when he moved in? What money did he have left? I laughed bitterly. That's right. A project I secretly registered overseas had a successful IPO. In 5 years, it would have been worth at least $800 million. I was afraid you couldn't wait, so I planned to transfer my assets to you as a surprise. But before I could tell you, you demanded a divorce. I thought you wanted to clear my name, to marry me again and rid me of the freeloader label. I was going to tell you the surprise at our wedding, until the 30-day waiting period ended, and you turned around and married Julian. I immediately canceled all the transfers. Serena, you love money more than life. It's a pity you don't deserve it. Serena broke down completely, sobbing uncontrollably. Victoria signaled with her eyes. Bodyguards who had been hiding nearby rushed out, subdued Serena, and rescued the children. Victoria walked over to me, eyes red, and comforted me softly. I'm late. I am sorry. Seeing the face I missed day and night, I couldn't hold back anymore. I hugged her tightly. Honey, I thought I'd never see you again. Serena said your plane blew up. Victoria smiled gently. I missed you too much to wait for today's flight. I took a commercial flight back last night. The private jet today only carried some luggage. No one was hurt, don't worry. Caleb, my love for you saved my life. And it saved our children. I should thank you. Victoria held the 2 children, and we were escorted safely to the car. Fortunately, the kids weren't hurt, and I was only suffering from the paralytic and some bruises. After Julian was pulled up, he immediately grabbed the shears and lunged at Serena. They fought viciously. By the time the police arrived, Serena had suffered massive trauma to her lower abdomen. Victoria and I gave our statements. The Sterling family begged to settle. If it weren't for Miss Pierce, Serena would be facing murder charges. Miss Pierce saved our family. We won't press charges for the kidnapping of the parents. Under my persuasion, Victoria dropped the plan to bankrupt the Sterling family. I said, the sins don't extend to the family. The Sterlings have other heirs. We only need Serena to pay the price. The Sterling family promised us they would never give Serena another cent. They removed her from the family trust and the genealogy books on the spot. They held a press conference to disown her, warning all investors that Serena's actions had nothing to do with the Sterling Group. Serena lay in the hospital for 3 months. She was told her reproductive system was destroyed. She would never have children. Julian was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder. Before going to prison, he vowed to expose every dirty deed he had done for Serena over the years. On the day of the trial, Serena knelt crying at the courthouse entrance, begging Julian to forgive her, to leave her a shred of hope. But she failed. Serena was fined over $100 million and faced significant prison time. Victoria took me back to the Pierce estate. After paying respects to the ancestors, we finally went to City Hall on a lucky day and got our marriage license. When I gave her the heirloom I had won at the auction, Victoria cried like a child. I stroked her hair, my heart aching with love. After so many years, in front of her mother's memento, she could finally cry freely again. I met Victoria 3 years ago. I had just arrived in Switzerland, reeling from the multiple blows of divorce and betrayal. I felt life held no hope. That was until I met Mrs. Pierce. During an attempt to end my own life, it was Mrs. Pierce who saved me. She told me about her daughter and encouraged me, saying nothing was insurmountable and that things would get better. Because she was born into the dazzling, cutthroat Pierce dynasty, Victoria had been poisoned as a child, leaving half her body paralyzed and her health frail. She grew up sickly and shadowed, her personality turning dark and reclusive. No one dared get close to her. Mrs. Pierce was advanced in age and couldn't have more children. The continuation of the Pierce line rested solely on Victoria. At Mrs. Pierce's pleading, I stepped into Victoria's room. The first time we met, Victoria tried to drive me out, but when she learned I came at her mother's invitation, she fell silent for a long time before finally letting me in. She said, "You are helping me and my mother. I have no reason to treat you poorly, but every man who has ever come here has run away without exception. I'm just a reclusive invalid. No man will ever fall in love with me. If one day you can't stand it anymore, leave quietly. Don't let me know." I began to keep her company. Her health improved day by day. I did all this originally intending only to repay Mrs. Pierce for saving my life, planning to leave once Victoria recovered. But Mrs. Pierce was visibly withering away. The doctor eventually told us she was running on empty and wouldn't last 6 months. Victoria and I decided to have a child to fulfill Mrs. Pierce's dying wish. When the twins were a month old, Mrs. Pierce finally couldn't hold on any longer. Before she left, she said her life had been wrapped in guilt, feeling she had failed her child. She had held on for so many years just for Victoria. Now that the Pierce family had heirs, she was too tired. She wanted to go find Victoria's father and asked us to forgive her for leaving. After Mrs. Pierce's funeral, Victoria suddenly knelt before me. "Caleb, can you please not go? You're the only family I have left." That year, we had been together every day, saving each other. I didn't tell her that I had long since become unable to leave her. To honor her mother, we decided to observe a 3-year mourning period before legally marrying. We agreed to return to the U.S. to sign the papers after 3 years. Years ago, to cure Victoria, Mrs. Pierce had left her home and taken Victoria to Switzerland alone for treatment. In the end, she never made it back. Now, Victoria was mostly healed. It was time to bring Mrs. Pierce home. I threw a grand wedding for Tori at the Pierce estate. Almost the entire city received wedding favors. Even Julian, sitting in prison, received 2 expensive chocolates. He sent a message through a contact asking to see me. Victoria accompanied me to the visitor's center. Julian had lost a lot of weight. He was darker, more introverted. He said, "I've owed you an apology. Actually, I always knew Serena liked you. She only liked you. I also knew Serena's only flaw was her pride. She hated losing. So I intentionally goaded the group into playing that game, just to make you 2 divorce. You might not know, but she once actually fought us physically because we mocked you for being a kept man. Back then, Serena really did want to give you a proper wedding. So, the night before, I got her drunk and slept with her. I used that secret to blackmail her into playing the game again and marrying me. Otherwise, I would tell you everything. She was afraid you'd be angry. She didn't dare tell you, so she chose to marry me. But she was too naive. She didn't know divorce requires 2 people's consent. So, All these years, I found excuses to delay the divorce every time the waiting period ended, just to create the illusion that we were happily married, so you would give up. I didn't expect you to come back. The moment you appeared in front of Serena, I knew I had lost. I regret it. If I hadn't fought with you back then, if I'd let you know how much Serena loved you, would everything be different? You could have been happy with Serena forever, and I wouldn't be in prison. I thought about it seriously, then shook my head firmly. Julian, I told you, never put yourself in a lowly position. Never give a woman a multiple-choice question. I didn't leave Serena because of you. I left because the moment she wavered, I knew she wasn't worth loving. If she loved me firmly, she wouldn't have fallen for any of your schemes. It was consensual. It only proved she was a coward who didn't want to take responsibility, but desired the thrill of betrayal. She isn't worth my love, and you should be glad you weren't stuck with a person like that for a lifetime. I took Victoria's hand, my heart incredibly at peace. I have already found my own happiness. I hope that when you get out, you can turn over a new leaf and never appear in my life again. Story complete.